you. Thank you. Thank you and welcome to the inaugural Snowdome Great Shake-Up. We are being beamed live and interactive into your boardrooms all around Australia and all around the world. This is quite a very special event. In fact, we think it almost is a world first. And I want to thank you, wherever you are watching this program from, in your boardroom, which means you don't have to go out to a dedicated venue anywhere. You're just in your boardroom and you can stay there for the next hour. And we don't have any elaborate things on your table like logos and little gifts and things like that, because we just want to dedicate this hour to Snowdome, which I'll tell you more about in a moment. But by being part of this in the boardroom at the moment, you are helping this wonderful cause. What is Snowdome? Okay, let me tell you what Snowdome is. It's a foundation which the whole aim of Snowdome is to channel funds, both philanthropic and government, into cutting-edge technology, into research and clinical trials of blood cancers. Now, blood cancers being leukemia, lymphoma and myeloma. Not big on the radar of cancers, but extremely important, and it does affect many, many Australians. So we want to impart a little bit of knowledge, so today you'll go away with a little more awareness of the Snowdome Foundation. And we're quite excited because what we've done, because we're going to so many boardrooms, we thought, what can we do? Do we have an auction? Do we bother with an auction? Only if we can get some sort of money can't buy items. And we found a couple. So you're the lucky, you can bid on these and go to the website, which we're going to, well, you can see the website on the bottom of the screen. But two great items. One is because we're supported by Sir Richard Branson, who is the most amazing businessman. And it's a wonderful prize. You get an audience with Richard for an entire hour. You can pick his brains of how he came to be in charge of about 400 companies worldwide. We know it's into, you know, travel and leisure and entertainment. He's a marvellous man and he's really supportive of this wonderful cause. The second prize is you get to fly business class to LA, pretty good, and walk the red carpet with Tom Cruise on any day of the week. Nothing to do with a movie, just walk the red carpet at his place, which is really good of Tom to open up his house. No, he has a blockbuster coming up and it's so fresh, it's so new, the movie that we're talking about, that we do not know the name. We couldn't find out the name. We tried, but it was like mission impossible, trying to get the name of his new blockbuster movie. Thanks for the laugh. Only got one, but that's enough when you've got a very small audience in this studio. By the way, we're beaming to you from the studios of Channel 7 in Melbourne, who are a wonderful, helpful partner to this great event. It's an inaugural event, I say this, because we would like to make this the new way of fundraising, and in the hope that as we go on over the next few years, each year we'll be able to bring you entertainment as well as information about Snowdome. So what we've done, because you're in your, you know, it's a virtual event, which, by the way, doesn't mean that the food you're eating is not real. It doesn't mean you'll be hungry an hour after you've eaten it. So we want you to relax. But we've put a few cameras in particular boardrooms just to make sure you're paying attention. So without any further ado, we are crossing to a boardroom now, one boardroom somewhere in Australia. Come in wherever you are. It's... Okay, well, we've obviously got a little mistake there. I had down here, it's the PDFM boardroom. Those people are very animated there, weren't they, with Plucker? The PDF, it was the Plucker Duck Fund Management Company. Obviously, he's worked out a nice way to what to do with the funds he's in control of. But we have another one somewhere. Come in. I think we're going now to a more substantial boardroom. Ernst & oh, hey, we certainly are. Ernst & Young. Now, I'm not sure what we've done. We've positioned cameras, so I don't even know who I'm going to be talking to. Would you please like to introduce yourself, sir?
Hi, Darryl. It's David McGregor here from the Ernst & Young boardroom. Glad to be on board.
Well, David, thank you. And you've got obviously, you know, a gang of people around you. We can't sort of, Pam, we just wanted to drop in and firstly ask how you got involved. What prompted you to get involved in today's major event? Oh, that's Tim.
EY
Hello,
supports...
sorry, we dropped into Tim all of a sudden at Cisco Systems, but we're back with you, David.
No worries. EY supports a number of charities through the EY Foundation, so we were more than happy to come on board with Snowdome, and we got the connection through Village Roadshow.
Okay, and I see you've put a very elaborate spread on for your guests there, a couple of sandwiches I can see on the plate. So, you know, there are various levels of degrees of how big these lunches are. How many have you got in the EY boardroom today?
Oh, we've got a fair size, around about 10 or 12, and we're all looking forward to the curry deck sandwich.
David, can't thank you enough for being part of Snowdome, the inaugural great shake-up. So thank you and enjoy the
Pleasure,
day.
Darryl.
And we'll try and keep it to an hour because I know you blokes like to get back to work and into it. So thank you. Now, listen, how's this for a CV? I'm about to introduce this gentleman, and I want to tell you that Miles Prince, Professor Miles Prince, he's the Professor of Medicine at Melbourne and Monash Uni, and Director of the Centre for Blood Cell Therapies at the Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre in Melbourne. He's also Head of Haematology at Cabrini Hospital, but that's only the start of his CV. He's heavily involved in research and has published over 300 peer-reviewed manuscripts. Although a large part of his work involves research, he spends the lion's share of his time looking after his patients, and they're all with blood cancers, leukemia, lymphoma and myeloma. And in his obvious spare time, he is a co-founder of the Snowdome Foundation and is a current board member. Please welcome Miles Prince. Hey. And I reckon that if you weren't in the business you're in, you could have actually taken a left turn, ended up in Hollywood and been in the movie with Tom Cruise. Because, you know, you really, as anyone said to you, you really have that sort of... girls? Guys? No, you're very dapper. In fact, you should be hosting, I should be doing the research. Now, Miles, firstly, welcome. I'm glad you've taken time off because you do spread yourself around all of these different activities, don't you? If you weren't doing this right here, where would you be? Would you be researching or what?
Today I'd be sitting in the boardroom that's one of the boardrooms that's watching us at Peter Mac.
Oh, well, look, I'm actually rather glad you're here because I just want to, you know, open it up for a start and let you explain more directly about Snowdome, what it is for people watching at the moment.
Yeah, so Snowdome in 2010, Rob Tandy and Grant Rutherford, who I think we'll hear more about
He's on later in the show, yeah.
And myself, we founded Snowdome with the objective of trying to advance new treatments for patients with blood cancers.
Right.
And so Rob and Grant, their motivation was because they had been touched themselves by blood cancers. Mm-hmm. My motivation, I look after patients, and I've always, in my working life, have wanted to improve the outcomes of patients with blood cancers. But sadly, a lot of people run out of options, and they need the new drugs that are being developed. And the purpose of Snowdome, and very early on we said what we need to do is to get new drugs to patients faster. And so Snowdome's mission is to try and get these drugs to patients through cutting-edge research and supporting cutting-edge research, and do that largely through clinical trials.
Tell us more about the clinical trials, because that's really important, isn't it, nowadays?
Oh yes, I mean, we already know for a fact that patients who get their treatment through clinical trials do better. But what's probably more important is that it gives us access to new drugs, and so we can get these drugs to patients faster than we would otherwise if patients have to wait for the treatments.
And look, we're developing those drugs, and also they're not just for one particular hospital. They're for patients who are across the board, aren't they?
Absolutely. Snowdome tries to support any patient who's being treated with a blood cancer anywhere in Australia. And we've got some incredibly good clinicians and researchers here in Australia. And a lot of these researchers have very good contacts to get these new drugs and to get these clinical trials going. But, you know, Australia's a small place, so we have to compete. Yeah. And so we have to compete with our brains. And to do that, we need to be able to get these trials moving fast, but there's always a problem with funding. And that's what Snowdome's about, is to try and get, and so we can turbocharge a lot of these activities and get these homegrown trials up and going.
And I think, I remember talking to you one day and you were telling me that as far as Australia goes, research-wise, we're really up in that top sort of 5% or so internationally, is that right?
Yeah, Australia punches way above its weight in terms of in all sorts of research, from basic research, so laboratory research, through to clinical research, where we've got great brains around the country. What we probably do better than most is to try and collaborate better, because small country, you've got to try and get as much power behind that.
And one of the other great brains is Professor Andrew Spencer, is that? And he's at he's based at Alfred.
He's at the Alfred Hospital, yes,
in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And they've actually put down some footage for us, and I guess this will show a little bit of where the research is done, or partly done. So here's Professor Andrew Spencer.
2008, I was diagnosed with low-grade leukemia, but then in 2010, I was diagnosed with aggressive AML leukemia, and my oncologist told me that I could go on to chemotherapy, which would mean I would be in and out of hospital most of the time, and then there was palliative care, and I could have 6 months to live. Well, it was a bit of a shock, as you can imagine. I talked to my sisters and the family and said to them, well, what do you think? And they said, it's up to you, you know, what do you want to do?
One of the most upsetting circumstances we have in managing these patients is if we have to say to them that we've got no other option for them. Having clinical trials available for patients actually provides them with more options. And that's incredibly important for them and their families. And in many cases, those trials result in quite significant improvement in their well-being and outcome.
Well, I guess all started with Andrew Spencer. He had this vision of linking the clinical research with preclinical. Most of the studies that I've done previously, I actually see the result in the lab and I get the papers published saying what findings are, but I really don't see what happens to it when it goes into a human being.
Conventional therapy has broadly been based around chemotherapy and radiotherapy, and we know that they're, largely speaking, non-specific in that they also have harmful effects against normal tissues. So a lot of the work in the past decade or so has been focused on more targeted therapies, which are more successful at killing abnormal cells than normal cells.
Let's say a newly diagnosed patient come in. So the first thing for a myeloma patient, the first thing they would have is to have a bone marrow biopsy. So from that biopsy, we can actually get some sample into the lab and determine what type of drugs that we will pre-trial on this sample first, not in the human, it's not in the person yet, but in his bone marrow, to see which drug actually works really well. So the lab would help to predict the best outcome really for the patient.
So it really is fundamentally critical that ideas which may not be fundable by government agencies do gain some traction and support from organisations like Snowdome, because they would never be advanced otherwise.
Well, when I first came here, I was very, very tired. I couldn't do hardly anything. And now I don't seem to have many side effects at all. I seem to be coping okay with the side effects. And if I see them coming, I know how to get around them. It's always a thought, well, you know, I used to be able to do this, now I can't do it. But I'm thankful that I'm still here.
All the various people involved in this work share the same passion, that they all at heart are interested in improving outcomes for unfortunate individuals with these blood cancers.
to actually then when we do our analysis and see that, this is something fantastic, it can actually help the patient now. The patient is not the end of the road. We still have the next step. To know that, it actually, you feel very warm inside, knowing that you can actually help another person.
Fascinating information there. And I mean, these clinical trials that were being talked about, they're really expensive, aren't they?
Look, it's about $300,000 for a small clinical trial, and it could be 10 times that amount for a larger clinical trial.
300 grand, and then like 10 times that amount for
a big clinical trial, because you have to treat a lot of patients to get definitive results.
How many a year? How many patients a year in Australia would be?
12,000 patients with blood cancers. That's leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma are diagnosed every year with blood cancers.
Gee. Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? So, look, and it's, as I said on the very opening, it's not really big on the radar of cancers in Australia from a philanthropic point of view, and
it's surprising, yeah, because it is the fourth most common cancer. So what we're trying to do is, I suppose, increase awareness. Exactly what you're saying, to make people aware of this, recognise a need, and also be aware of the advances that we're making, because we are moving forward. We're on the precipice of really big moves forward with a lot of discoveries that have been made recently in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and that's that's collective globally, but particularly also in Australia.
Yeah, well, Australia's doing a lot of work in all those areas in those cancers.
I wanted to make mention to people, if you as you watch this, if you want to tweet, feel free to do so at Great Shakeup or hashtag Great Shakeup. I'd love to hear from you. We might get a chance to read some out later. It just is a way of getting you active and involved in what we're doing. Ever met Sir Richard Branson?
No. I'd love to meet him.
Do you fly Virgin? You might want to after we, because he's very...
I won't reveal my sponsorship.
Don't reveal your sponsorship. But he's very supportive, as you know, of Snowdome, and here's a special message from Sir Richard.
Over the years, I've gained somewhat of a reputation for shaking things up, doing things differently. It gets results, which is why I'm behind the Snowdome Foundation and their Great Shake-Up virtual event. I love the work you're doing to beat blood cancers, and with the amount of travelling I do every year, I love the idea of an event I don't have to turn up to. So if you want a face-to-face audience with me, you'd better get bidding. You don't want to miss out. After all, it's going to be the worthiest of causes. Anyway, cheers.
Cheers to you, Sir Richard. Now, Miles is going to stay with us, and we'll speak with him a little later on. But I just wanted to tell you that bidding is going to be open till Friday, the 23rd of August, till 5 p.m. And the results are going to be in the boardroom of the organisers of your lunch today. So look in their inbox for the results. But you don't have to bid. Or you can bid while you're having lunch today, but you can leave it and then bid and go further into it and look at all the terms and conditions on the website. They're really two great prizes. So yeah, it's fantastic. Anyway, look, I guess a little nostalgic here, but 22 years ago, we had a wonderful boy a very talented boy on Hey Hey. You would say he was a minor, but a major guest. And I'm referring to, well, actually, rather than me do the intro now,
let's bring him out and meet him.
Yes, get him out and meet him, says Daryl. Let's go for it.
Let's bring him out and meet him. Nathan Cavalieri. Hey!
G'day, Lofty. How are you?
That's
Nice to talk to someone eye to eye for a change.
Yeah.
Well, now that was Nathan when he was. Well, actually, I'll ask him how old he was at the time, because we're crossing... There he is now. Look, that little boy grew up to look like this. Let's give him a big welcome, Nathan Cavalieri.
How are you?
Nate, I've got to say thank you so much for doing this. And I was going to sort of voice over that clip, but I got carried away with your guitar playing because it was so good.
I got to ask, what were we wearing?
Well, we were highly fashionable at the time, but it was like 22 years ago.
It was the 90s, it wasn't the 80s, just to be clear, it wasn't the 80s.
We just skipped the 80s. You ought to see some of the stuff we were in the 80s. We're not going to show any of that. But listen, great to have you along for Snowdome, and I was going to say, because at that time you came onto the show, and through the years after that, you were battling leukaemia. Now, you're one of the fortunate ones. Correct. You're one of the fortunate ones after, that you had the treatment. But tell us about the treatment at that time, because it was fairly harsh, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably still battling with some of the memories from that. I mean, I would be in hospital, chemo regularly across Christmas. I mean, we'd be lucky if we got to a point where I remember every Tuesday I'd have to have lumbar punches, bone marrows. Lumbar punches, for those who don't know, are very painful. It's a needle about that big that gets put into your spine. They draw fluid out, they put fluid back in.
Do you go under for that, or do they actually, how do they?
No.
No? Oh.
Well, the sad thing about that situation was they couldn't put me under because they didn't have enough beds in the hospital.
Wow.
So it wasn't until the very, very last part, which is kind of the odd lumbar puncture, because it was all a weekly thing and then went to monthly and kind of tapered off. Towards the end, I managed to score a couple beds. But I mean,
well done.
Yeah. Woo. But yeah, it was pretty tough, and I think as a kid, I'm very grateful that my parents kind of preserved my innocence when it came to not really knowing what I was dealing with, because I mean, for me, the goal was just to get through those experiences, those weekly experiences. Yes. I had no idea I was dealing with a life-threatening illness, so it was more about getting it done so I can play my guitar and, you know, go play with my friends.
Yes, well, Joanne and Frank, your mum and dad, and your brother Joshua, is he younger or older than you?
He's younger, but way more mature.
But it must have been really tough on the family, I would imagine.
Yeah, extremely. I mean, I still don't really know what they went through during that time, but I know it was very, very, very tough. I mean, I get little bits out of them here and there now that I'm older, and it blows me away. I mean, if you know, taking a step back from the situation, the fact that they knew what I was dealing with and I didn't, and they had to also, they would be the ones kind of taking in what the doctors were saying. They would also have to, basically provide a very calm house for me to heal in as well. You know, it's not just about, what we do in hospitals. It's also our lifestyle outside of that helps the healing process. So I can't imagine the pressure. And then, you know, financially, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Oh, of course, because we're just talking to Miles of how expensive it is now with clinical trials and such, but in those days with chemo it would have been frighteningly expensive. But also, the survival rate at that time was probably not high, was it? So that would put extra pressure on your mum and dad. If they were trying to shield you from it, which I understand, which is lovely, but it must have been horrendous for them.
Absolutely. I think the type of figures we were given, I mean, there's obviously a reason for me to be here because they were very, very low, my chances. So very, very lucky.
Gee, it's just a really wonderful story, your story, and we were so rapt that we had you on Hey Hey, and then you went on to, I think back to it, you went on to play with, well, we saw Tommy Emmanuel there, Mark Knopfler, some of the world's greatest guitarists. Do you have fond memories of that time?
Well, absolutely. It's a complete blur. It happened so fast, and I mean, to give you an idea, like I was diagnosed at 6. The treatment sort of stopped at 8, and I wasn't in remission until 11. I was touring from 8 years old to right up until about 14, 15. So, yeah, it was, but yeah, fantastic memories. I mean, what I've learnt from playing with all those guys like BB King, and I mean, my first ever tour was with Jimmy Barnes and Diesel. I mean, the first gig I ever played, they had to get me out of there because it was a massive bloodbath. People punching on, you know.
Yeah. Oh, they were very popular in those days. Jimmy and the boys, you know.
Yeah, very educational.
Yeah, very. That's showbiz. Well, Nathan, and also I just wanted to ask you. I know that you're actually. Am I allowed to say what you're battling at the moment? You're fighting.
Oh yeah, I mean it's nothing really serious. But let's say I have an incredible passion for life, and I haven't been listening to my body, so I'm dealing with adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue at the moment, which is a little bit annoying, and it's. Yeah, I mean, that's small fish compared to what I've been through and what others are going through at the moment. But one thing it is making me realise is how important for those people... basically what I'm trying to say is when I reflect back to my experience, what held it together for me was just keeping a purpose, you know, like when you have purpose, when you're battling whatever it is, be it, you know, adrenal fatigue, cancer, it's important to have purpose. It's important to have things to look forward to, things that make you feel good. They're healing, you know, especially when we don't know exactly what causes the situation, so you can't rule that stuff out.
Yes, yeah. Look, I just want to thank you so much for being with us today. And speaking of wonderful things that you were doing, you did end up, and we're just going to go out with a little bit of vision of you playing with the great BB King. What a buzz that was. Thanks, Nathan. Enjoy the lunch today, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Great to see you. Great to be a part of it. Good luck.
Baby, what you do to me?
So there he was. Hey, what about that with BB King? That was Nathan Cavalieri. A wonderful story. Nathan, a great survivor, and he got to play with some of the world's greats, and he's a terrific boy. And if you saw him young, and that was about when he played with BB King, it was on Hey Ho about 5 years or 6 years after the Little Tacker, when he was sort of down here. And now you've seen him today, and it's a great story. Now, a great story as far as organising all of this is the fact that Cisco Systems came on board. We could not be doing what we feel is kind of a world first and beaming live and interactive into your boardrooms without the help of Cisco Systems because it's extremely complicated. If I was to hit you all the technical terms, but rather than me do that, let's get Ken Bowl to do that. Ken Bowl is the Managing Director of Cisco Systems. Ken, nice to have you in.
Hey Daryl, great to be here. And hey, listen, I'm not sure if we've got enough time, but I've got some old home video of me in the Wavell Primary school band playing fife. So we're just trying to get that uploaded at the moment.
Well, good luck, Ken. Now, Ken, it was. I was just going to mention the technical expertise needed to make this happen. It has been a long time in the works, hasn't it?
It certainly has been a fair effort and a great team effort, and it was frankly the Snowdome team that came in probably 18 months ago now, and we heard stories like the inspiring one we just heard from Nathan, from a great bunch of people, and we were just amazed, and we fell in love with the concept, the work, the quality of research and what's required to advance the cause. And we signed up on the spot. The problem was we didn't know what we were signing up to.
That's lovely. Well, you know, we admit that we couldn't do this without you, and we've got Seven on board, we've got Village Radio, we've got wonderful sponsors, and the most wonderful, hard-working committee. So the Snowdome Committee have just worked tirelessly to make this happen today, and it'll be over in a flash, and we'll think, oh, it's gone. But if we can at least create awareness of the blood cancers and the money needed. We really need to raise a lot of money. We get some from the government, but really the philanthropic aspect of it is yet to be sort of tapped into. But Ken, thank you for being with us today, and enjoy your little lunch.
Thanks there, Daryl. We've got the cheese and Vegemite sandwiches. During the tough economy, we're doing it tough, so we'll tuck into those now.
Things are going downhill fast, aren't they? We're down to not the Vegemite sandwiches. You don't have the Vegemite, just the cheese.
Oh, cheese and Vegemite on the one sandwich. Very good combination.
Okay. Well, economising, but that's not too bad. Okay. Hey, we are getting some tweets coming in from Hugh Wilson, is watching with Publicis, Mojo. So good luck, and they're wishing us good luck. I wish them good luck too. Sue Sensi is at the Riva with 40 plus others, so that's nice to have you there. Michelle Lovett, because everyone had to register sort of, through their boardrooms to be part of this. So Michelle Lovett is at Bell's Hotel with 50 others. Is Bell's Hotel at Bell's Beach, or is it Bell's Hotel? Could be anyway. I'm not sure where Bell's is, but and Peter Turin is at. He just says you should all feel so proud. Thank you, Peter. Max San, let's beat blood cancer. Good one. We hope we can. We've had lots of people supporting this, and you may know, of course, that one very special Australian contracted blood cancer some time ago. It was a real battle for her, but she came through it, and she has a message for us today.
Hi, I'm Delta Goodrum, and I love what the Snowdome Foundation is all about. I love how much work and passion is going into this incredible virtual event on the Great Shake-Up. It's wonderful to see corporate Australia coming together, and I, of course, am honoured that I could lend my support. Some of you might be aware I have gone through a type of blood cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it's a very personal journey that you go through, and one that you really do need angels and need support in your family, and everybody is affected by it when this happens. So I know that myself, I'm so blessed to still be here, but it's because of people like you here today making a difference and working hard at supporting it. So I know the Snowdome Foundation is really working hard to find a cure. So good luck, guys.
Wonderful, Delta Goodrum. Also supporting this great cause. We'll hear from Delta a little later on too in the show. I wanted to mention again the auction items, just go a little bit deeper into the auction items, because Sir Richard Branson has given his time. Well, as an auction item, you can spend an hour with Richard. I mean, he started, I think he published a thing called The Student when he was about 16, and then not that long later ended up with, as I said earlier, 400 companies worldwide. I mean, he's amazing. From a corporate point of view, you couldn't go past a chat with Sir Richard, telling about what you do or what your work is, and he might be able to offer some advice, or say, no, close down completely. Or even better, I'll take you over. He's a magnificent man, and you can go to the website, as I said, for more information about meeting up with Sir Richard when he comes out to Australia, which he's frequently coming out to this country. And the other, Village Roadshow, what a great organisation Village Roadshow are. They support so many charities, and they're on board, and the details, you two business class airfares, you fly to LA and you get to walk the red carpet with Tom Cruise in his next blockbuster. As I said, I'm not sure really what it is, but you mix with the A-listers, you go to the party, you probably even see the movie too, which would be a help, wouldn't it? That movie that's named Anonymous at the moment, but I'm sure it'll be soon. So they're really too. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have an auction. We didn't want to have an auction and say, oh look, we'll auction off a Snowdome. Oh, shake it up. We'll offer on a show. So we've got really two good items only that you can bid on up to Friday, 23rd of August, 5 p.m. So that's what we're hoping you will do. A little bit of musical refreshment now from a band who really, they put themselves on the map. They've been touring with Pink, who I think is actually in concert tonight in Melbourne. But they've been touring with Pink. They're currently in New York, where what they did to get on the map, they started sort of almost breaking into places, not breaking in, walking into various establishments and just playing. It was like a musical hijack. And they're called Kin, Isaac, brothers, two brothers, Isaac and Torrin, and they are in New York. Hi, boys.
It's our pleasure, Daryl. When we heard about the Snowdome Foundation and all the work they're doing on blood cancer, we just jumped at the opportunity to help. So thanks for having us.
Well, it's great being had, I was going to say. It's wonderful having you boys, and we're going to get straight into an introduction for what will probably be your single, Get On It, from New York. It's Kin, K-I-N, Kin.
Well, it's summer when I believe that all your cards are down. Baby, play it straight for me. Well, it's only armor. You set it free. You're turning up the sound, painting up the town for me. Working overtime, everything you do, it started over you. You start me on it. We're in overdrive, everything you do, it started over you. You start me on it, on it. We're on it. In the city, New York, funk, let it be. The stars are falling down, so baby, come naturally. So bring it louder, so I can see. This place is going down, it's going down in history. It's going down. Oh, working overtime, everything you do, it started over you. You start me on it. Drive, everything you do, it started over you. You start me on it, on it. We're on it. Ooh, 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 ooh. We're on it. Ooh, 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 ooh. We're on it. Time, everything you do is starting over you. You start me on it. Working overtime, everything you do is starting over you. You start me on it. We're in overdrive, everything you do is starting over you. You start me on it, on it. We're on it. Get on it. We're on it. We're on it. Get on it.
Get on it. That was Kin from New York. Thank you, boys. They're terrific, those boys. Now, as I said, touring with Pink, or they have been. Back to me. I think we're finished with the boys. Thank you, boys. Good luck with the breaking into places and playing music. Let's see what they like to do. Okay. But they'll go into regular venues and play there too. So do yourself a favour. Hang on, that sounds familiar. Yeah, the Man in the Hat. Well, we thought we should chat a little more to Delta, and I thought, well, who better than to speak with Delta than the Man in the Hat, Molly Meldrum.
Well, here we are again, right? But for a great cause this time, the Snowdome Foundation and the Great Shake-Up. Now, I know you've given me a big shake-up at times, going, put yourself together, you know?
It's true.
It is true. But this is amazing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Snowdome Foundation has put a lot of love into this virtual event, the Great Shake Up, all of corporate Australia coming together and spending time and doing this in a new modern way to be able to raise money for research and to beat blood cancer, hopefully.
When no one saying raising money, no better than for research, because it just continues all the time. I know with you, we'll talk about that in a moment, since you're this high and then getting yourself through that, you know. It's so important, research.
I mean, research is really what we have to put our energy into, because without the research, we don't know where it's going or what's happening. So to be able to get a team that's passionate about it, and it's helping the community, it's helping all of us as humans to be able to get ahead of it so that one day we can get rid of it, you know.
You've always been so up all the time and full of energy, but then you get hit with this horrible news, you know? What was it like?
Well, when I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's, I was 18 years old, and I had just broken through the music industry, and I had my third #1 hit that week, and I'd just broken some records, and you know, cancer doesn't discriminate. It can hit at any moment. It doesn't have to fit in with your life at any moment. You know, it affects 1 in every 3 people, or some crazy statistic, and you know, being just you know, like our family, and getting told those words, you have cancer, you know, it changes your whole life, and it turns everything upside down, and you learn pretty quickly, you know, how much health is the #1 most important thing in your whole life.
To take it in, like for yourself, for your mum Lee, for your dad Dennis, and for your brother, who was amazing.
Yeah, they were. I'm so lucky that I had the support of my family, and sometimes not everybody's as lucky. And I had the support of the country. I mean, I was
sure did.
It was like, you know, yourself. Everybody was there for me, and I know in my part, I've just wanted to make sure that I make sure other people who are going through it don't feel alone. That's a very important thing for me, because it can be very isolating, even with the support, until you know when you're in that position what it feels like. You know, you really need to connect with other people going through it, and it's important when everybody really rallies together.
When you're recovering and going through all the treatment and that, I mean, did you look in, it was not the same blood cancer or whatever, but say with Kylie and her thing that she went through, Olivia with her thing, did you use that as inspiration?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Olivia reached out straight away. She's so incredible, and you know, I mean, we formed a bond straight away, and she's become a big part of my life, and we've spoken about it a lot. And she said to me in that time, you know, you'll look back and see this as a gift, because then you'll be able to, you know, it's like looking behind a curtain, or you can help other people so much more, and they don't feel like you're coming from a place of not understanding what they're going through. You know, there's a different connection when you go to the hospitals and you meet people, and she was a real inspiration to me. You know, she still is.
Your current album, great success, you know?
Child of the Universe.
Absolutely.
I'm really proud of that record. I love making music. I love getting to do what I get to do, and you know, I feel it was my calling in life to make music, and I love making music for people.
Well, with the Snowdome Foundation, great shake-up.
Yeah. Can you believe they're doing this, like a virtual event?
I know, it's
quite
amazing.
Crazy. Like, I can only imagine what's going to be happening in these next years. I mean, this is like the first time I've ever heard of a virtual event where they're going into corporate, into all the business. You're all like, "Hi guys," at work. I mean, besides the fact you get like an hour off work, or like 30 minutes off work. I don't know how long this goes for, but like, you know, that's pretty cool. I'd be happy with that at work. And you put money towards charity. It's very cool.
All right. Well, listen, it's great talking to you.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, Molly Meldrum.
Thanks for doing the interview, and with the Snowdome Foundation, great shake-up. Do you want to thank everyone over there for watching this? And
yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and
be the cheer squad leader. Come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go Snowdome Foundation. Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo! Thank you, Delta, and the man in the head. See, he's lucky to be with us too. It wasn't blood cancer with Molly, but a fall off his backyard, off a roof. But he's fought through it, and it's great to see him, you know, back doing what he loves doing. Delta just kind of shows that anyone, it doesn't discriminate. Anyone can get cancer, even Delta Goodrum.
Well, I mean, that just shows you, I mean, it shows you that just how brave you have to be to get through it. I mean, she was, the difficulty, the anxiety, patients have described it to me as it's like a stalker, that cancer can be around the corner. It's very hard to fight. Blood cancers don't discriminate. There's no screening for blood cancers. No amount of screening will detect it early, and there's no major lifestyle changes that people can make to reduce their risks of blood cancers. And so in that way, it's just so random.
It must be frustrating for you, I mean, because you're so immersed in the research and wanting to find cures for people. You know, you go back, and I was talking to Nathan about going back 20-something years, and what you had to work with then was much harder, wasn't it? It was pretty much chemo, was that it?
Yes, and so what's happened in the last few years is really there's been a bringing together. There was the Human Genome Project, so now we can map the genes. Huge amount of understanding about the mathematics, how to bring all of that understanding, those billions of megabytes of data, as well as chemistry. And so now we're really on the edge of bringing all of that and new drugs which are much better tolerated. And much more targeted. And as Andrew was saying before, you know, we're really getting to the nubbin of it rather than having to rely on drugs that they won't go away. Chemotherapy will always be with us, but we can add these other things in and potentially, you know, make people live longer, better lives.
Is that all under the banner of epigenetics? That you
well, epigenetics is one of the strategies of killing cancers. It's the sort of next layer on our understanding about the genes, and so it's one of many new understandings of how we believe cells grow and rogue cells grow. So as we get better understanding of the biology, we're going to make more advances.
Tell me if it's a silly question or not, but in a 1 to 10 of conquering blood cancers, where would we be on that scale at the moment, from your point of view?
Well, look, without avoiding the question, we've clearly...
You can if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a silly question. I mean, you can avoid it totally. Thank you very much.
Look, there's been some 10s already. There is blood cancers now that were just not curable 5 or 6 years ago, and there are cancers that we would have had maybe 3 out of 10 and are now 9 out of 10. So, you know, cure rates. So every blood cancer is different, and so it is impossible to answer that, but it's fair to say that we are going to cure more blood cancers in the next decade.
Well, gee, look, it's a fascinating subject, and I really hope that it'll create awareness amongst the people that are watching today, and I think as we go on over the next few years with it, it will raise not just the awareness, but obviously the money, because the money is desperately needed, isn't it?
Well, there's never enough money. There's lots of calls for money all the time, but I think, you know, we at Snowdome are strategic. We know that we want to put money where we're behind winners, and you know, the winners are out there, and so our view is that if we are going to make a difference, you've got to invest. Just like if you can see something and it's obvious to us, you've just got to invest it and you've got to stay focused.
Yep. Well, to help that, we've got the Victorian Health Minister, the Honourable David Davis, with a little message.
My name is David Davis. I'm the Victorian Minister for Health. The Victorian Government is very committed to supporting cancer research, and a new partnership between the Victorian Government's Cancer Agency and the Snowdome Foundation is a very important step. We'll jointly support a new clinician researcher fellowship in blood cancers for up to 4 years. And Victoria's in a very strong position. We have the Victorian Cancer Agency that spent more than $90 million on the cancer research, translational research in particular, and $1 billion is being spent on a new Victorian Comprehensive Cancer Centre. This is a critical step for the state government and for our community. But today, I invite you to join with me and the Snowdome Foundation in the fight against blood cancers. That will save the lives of Victorians.
Thank you, David Davis there. And I want to bring in someone now who I spoke to on the phone for the first time last night, Sally Evans. And Sally has you know, Miles just mentioned there are some blood cancers that are really difficult, and multiple myeloma, I believe, is not curable. Sally Evans has that, and she's still going after how many years? Oh, well, bring her in and ask her. Sally, just come in. A round of applause for Sally. Great to have you down.
Thank you.
Just come in here, and now I spoke to you last year. You've come down from Echuca.
I have.
You didn't? Did you drive?
Yes, I did.
You
I
did?
did. I drove all the way down. I probably won't drive home.
Yeah, that's why we put the good weather on for you.
Yes,
Coming
exactly.
down to Melbourne, sunshine every day.
Talked all the way down, so it didn't feel like a very long trip. So no, it was good.
And then they're here to talk to me. But now you have this multiple myeloma. You've had to come to grips with that. There is no known cure. Is that right?
Well, no, there's not. Not at present. No, so you just, you know, basically, you know, I'm having treatment at the moment. It's something that you deal with. I don't really look at that as a focus. I basically, I don't really focus on that at all, to tell you the truth. I basically,
Well, your story goes back, like it's, is it 15 years?
It's 15 years ago that I was first diagnosed.
Wow. And how did it present itself, symptoms?
Yeah, sure. I had back pain, and I was oblivious to the fact that it could be something sinister. I actually just thought I'd strained my back and just, you know, thought, oh, it'll get better. I had 3 small children there. They were 7, 5 and 3 at the time. I was just busy, a busy mum running around, and basically just didn't really give it a lot of thought. I didn't actually see a doctor for probably 6 months. It progressively got worse.
That's still better than blokes, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blokes are notorious to die. The dog's only a bit of a pain. You know?
Wow, I didn't even think to go to a doctor. It wasn't something, I thought maybe I should go to a physio or something, which I did do, but I really didn't think I needed to see, it was something sinister, until it was my son's 5th birthday actually, and my back was just really, really terrible. I went to see a doctor, was going to see a doctor. My husband said, right, you're off to see the doctor. I got into bed to rest, but I couldn't get out. And when I did, my back just gave way and I ended up with a crush fracture. So I'd left it that long.
Wow.
But so then, yes, I was in strife.
Obviously from then, your first thought would have been the family and...
Oh, absolutely. Like, I just, first of all, I thought I was wiggling my toes thinking, what have I done?
Yeah.
And I didn't have a diagnosis for basically a week, and they first thought it was probably breast cancer with secondaries to bone. And being a nurse, that diagnosis was pretty disastrous in my head, I had thought. When we found out it was myeloma, I had I didn't know anything about it. I actually thought, oh, good, this is okay. Oh, this is better than what I thought. This just stays in the bone marrow, it doesn't really go out. I can be treated for, you know, bring on the treatment and,
But, and of course, you're not always aware of how the kids are coping at that time. No. And we've got a little of some of their reaction when they were, as you said, they were young at the time. That's going back quite a few years. So we'll just roll that and see the reaction of the kids at the time when Mum got cancer.
Yeah, no worries.
I think it was my 5th birthday. She got cancer. And I stole her hair, but I think that's the only time I can remember her being sick.
I'd describe Mum as like really kind and happy and helpful. Like if you need help, she'll just come. She cooks nice dinners.
Try and get it behind you, but then you think about it too, so yeah.
Most of the time now, the way she's been acting and everything, we don't really remember, or we forget because how well she is until the treatment's starting again. That's when we start thinking about it and what we went through and all that sort of stuff.
So there's the reaction, and look, the kids have grown up. So we've got Alistair and Hugh and Georgia. Is it?
Georgie.
Georgie. Georgie, does she still cook nice dinners?
Yeah. Every night. Thank you, Georgie.
That's
very kind.
Well, now Georgie is Georgie still with you in Echuca?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's in year 12.
Right, but the 2 boys are down here in Melbourne and studying and whatever.
Apparently studying. They're at university. Both of the boys, one in 3rd year, one in 1st.
Yeah.
Yes, they're having a good time. Hugh has passed his first semester exam, so that's a bonus in first year. I think living on res is probably good fun, but he's doing well as he's passing, so that's good. And
That's
Alistair's,
great.
yeah, no, it's really nice. He's in third year and at college, and it's great.
Yeah, well, look, you'd be proud of them, and they're very proud of you. And then there's another group that your craft group. We've got a little bit of vision of the crowd. I don't know if we talk over this one, but there they are. There. Just tell me briefly about these are all your mates, yeah?
Yes, these are all my mates, and actually my mother is in that mix. It was really important at the time to have a lovely group of friends that you could take your mind off doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
It's really quite a trial having treatment, but actually going along and doing a fun activity. We basically drank coffee and ate cake, really. I don't think there was much craft going on.
Well, making the cake.
There's my mum. Yeah.
That was something.
Well, exactly. No, it was good fun. We ate a lot.
And I know it's in the car. You left it in the car, but you told me last night when I spoke to you about the local community. They did this calendar for you. And it was basically, was it all blokes?
All blokes, yes.
Yeah. And they were, I can say it if you don't want to explain it properly, but they were virtually completely nude, apart from one of the farmers had, wasn't a bale of hay. What did he have in front of him?
Well, he had a John Deere hat in front of his area. Another guy, they're all my girlfriend's husbands, actually. And it ended up being, you know, a fight. You know, they'd go, which month am I going to be?
Isn't that great?
It was actually really very funny. One guy did a handstand and he had a football jumper over his nether region. Somebody had, you know, a friend of ours owns another shoe store in Swan Hill. He had a big shoe in front of his...
Oh, right. Well, actually...
A big shoe. It had to... No, it was maybe a little shoe.
Yes, a ballet slipper or something.
A ballet, yeah. It was a child's shoe.
Or a thong.
A thong, yeah.
I've just had a mental picture which I'm not going to explain here.
No, it's not good.
But, you know, your hubby Richard, he's actually... You mentioned shoes because that's what you have a shoe business.
Yes, we have a shoe business.
Well, there's no business like...
Absolutely.
Richard's actually... First laugh, genuine laugh from the audience. Thank you. I'm putting it on the blackboard. I've got back that stage. Now, Richard's in the boardroom.
Yes, he is.
With a group of people who are supporting.
He is, yeah. He's at home in Echuca in our boardroom. He's probably got, I think, 15, 16 people there. They've got a chef with them. I hear the sandwiches in these other boardrooms. We've actually got some confit duck and some pork belly going on with some beautiful wines.
You've just
so
put
we're in the wrong spot.
Shame.
Well, I know. Thank you.
Wow.
I know. So they're having a fabulous time.
Pity they're all members of the Temperance Society.
Oh, exactly. No alcohol?
No,
There might be a little bit of that as well.
Well, hello, Richard, and if they're watching, and all the gang in Echuca.
It'll be very, yes, I think they'll be having a lovely time.
I want to bring just Miles in just quickly again, because I think, and I can't explain the multiple myeloma aspect of it, but really Sally exemplifies everything about Snowdome, doesn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we try and do is get new drugs, which Sally had. She was on a clinical trial, and get those new drugs into patients before they're generally available. And this trial that was done, it was an Australian trial, it was designed in Australia, it was done on Australian patients.
Right.
And it was eventually, you know, after the trial was done, it was published in an international journal. That trial, along with other trials, clearly demonstrated that these drugs are very effective in the treatment of blood cancers, and now these drugs are approved. And as of last week, one of those drugs that Sally received was approved by the Therapeutic Goods Administration, which is here, the Australian regulatory body, to get approved for patients with blood cancer. So it's a good news story for Sally. She's with us, and her kids have grown up and looking like sportsmen and not and students as well. And they have. And it means that's good news for people who have blood cancers now and the people who are going to get blood cancers.
It seems to take a long time to get things approved. Is it really difficult? Is that frustrating to a degree?
It is. It is. You always want things to happen faster. That's just the way the world goes. And so anything that can get it moving forward, and that usually ends up being people going on trials, but getting these trials up and running.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you, Sally, for being here. Miles, please stay, and thank you to the kids for coming in to support Mum. And it's really, we're going to go from one Sally to another, because when I was doing Dancing with the Stars, one of the great aspects of the show was the band. They were fantastic. And in that band was Sally Cooper, who was one of the most unbelievable musicians this country has ever produced. It was, you know, winning talent quests and things at the age of 7 or 8, and then performing with orchestras all over the world at 9. And now she's come along to support us today. She's got a new album out called Golden, but I thought, oh, I'll throw something at Sel because she's so good and see if she can put it together. And I said, look, could you start off with, I just said, look, start off with Danny Boy, go into something that complements that, like I would walk 500 miles, and then go into Mercy by Duffy, hot act, right, and then the Bittersweet Symphony, we'll throw a bit of that in, and you know, that's by the Verve, and then you know, with a classic Australian, beautiful classical piece, You Shook Me All Night Long, AC/DC.
Do we shake
well,
these
we can,
as well?
yes, we can hold these and shake these all through the... Oh, hello, Snowdome meltdown, meltdown. We have, and Sally has said, Daryl, leave it with me, I'll get back to you. And she did, and she's come along today, and it's great because we're going to hear, with a little backing track, because we don't have room in the studio for a full orchestra. Not that they're full, by the way, they're members of the Temperance Society as well. Please welcome Sally Cooper. I don't want to drop it. That was fantastic, Sally Cooper. Gee, that was great. And I had another 3 songs I was just going to add to that. No, you did. I mean, you were amazing. You put that together just like that. So I'm looking forward to sending you another long list.
Or we can make an album just out of medleys for you.
Medleys for me, medleys for Daryl. Look forward soon, and your record downloaded, coming to a computer near you. Thank you, Sally. Now, I just wanted to mention Viacorp because they are another great helper with the foundation. We have, you know, Cisco Systems, as I mentioned, to hook everyone up. But in terms of the video side of it, Viacorp, just the most wonderful support they've given. So thank you. And they're probably watching from their own boardroom. We can't cross to them, can we? No, that's video. That's video. That's too impossible to do that. Little hairy leg compare joke there. Sorry about that, Viacorp. No, they're having a great time. And look, we're coming towards the end of this, and I don't know how we're going for time. No one's actually told me. Are we pretty much to the hour? Or we're over for 4 hours. Oh, I got about 4:30 here. No, so I got about 1:37 or thereabouts. So we hope that you have enjoyed it. Now, I'm going to bring in someone because I'm sure that one of the questions you're probably thinking, how did the actual foundation about blood cancers get a name like, you know, Snowdome? Well, I'm going to bring in one of the founders mentioned earlier, and that's Grant Rutherford. Let's make Grant welcome. He's you step forward because I don't want. If I do that, I mean, look, when I take the shot of you, back of my head's in shot. I was trying to get it in shot just to show as an example. I was standing here talking to Miles before.
You look great. You look
and great. All of it. No, but we're taking a shot of you, and this is what happened when he cut to 3. Richard, are you with us? Oh, yeah, good. So there you go. And so if I stand back here, don't think I'm being strange and don't want to be near you, Grant.
Okay.
I do want to be near because, as I said, you know, you're a founder of Snowdome.
Yes, I am.
You're in the advertising industry when blood cancer sort of entered your life.
Yeah, yes, I was, Daryl, and I've since left advertising, but I'm about to go back in. You know, when it sort of hit really, really hard. So, you know, in the last year, I've sort of left advertising, just been concentrating on the foundation.
Yeah, for a very good reason, because it involved your daughter.
Well, yes. Excuse me. Look, I think it's fair to say that our foundation is dedicated to all those who have battled blood cancers, and we've seen those people today. You know, for those who have survived, you know, we've got some wonderful stories here today. But there are also those tragic stories where somebody doesn't make it, and unfortunately my daughter Chloe didn't make it. She had leukemia when she was the age of 6. She got better, she went into remission, she relapsed and died of complications to do with pneumonia, which was very, very tragic.
But this is fairly recent times.
Yeah, this is in the well, it's now 4 years ago, as of last week, her anniversary.
Oh, last week was her anniversary?
Last week. I didn't want to tell you that.
No. Oh, gee. Look, you can see the pictures on the screen we're showing. She was such a vibrant little girl, and the Snowdome aspect of it. It's a cute story, actually, isn't it?
Well, yeah. The foundation's name is actually a sort of it's no flash of brilliance, really. It's like a homage to mistaken identity, I guess. One of the times that Chloe was actually in the hospital, she saw what she thought she saw was a gift shop, a beautiful little glass gift shop with Snowdomes adorning its walls, and it turned out to be the nurses' quarters in the surgery.
Right.
And but like all things beautiful and magical, Chloe just had to have a Snowdome of her own.
Yeah.
So she, you know, little girls, you cannot deny little girls, especially one so sick as Chloe. So she got a Snowdome, and that's where her collection started from.
And it just grew and grew after that, yeah?
Well, it did grow and grow. It grew to, you know, over 50, and it still grows today. I mean, you know, friends, you know, new and old friends, family, you know, and nurses at the hospital, they actually started the Snowdomes. And each one of those Snowdomes actually has a very special story attached to it. One was bought from China and blessed by a Chinese monk, which was amazing. One came from Paris, where Chloe's friend was at the time with her mother. They were sitting in the pews at the Church of Notre Dame. They lit a little candle. Chloe was very sick at the time, and they lit a little candle and said a prayer for her. Even her school, Grimwade Melbourne Grammar, her classmates got together while she was sick in hospital, because she was in and out of hospital for 3 years.
Sure.
They entered an art fair, an art competition, state art competition, and they dedicated to Chloe, and their theme was Snowdomes, and the result was spectacular. They came second, which I can't believe.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they didn't win, but they won our hearts. They won our hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. You had obviously a lot of support from. Oh, and Lily is your other daughter.
And Lily, yes, and Melissa, my wife. I mean, they're a big part of Snowdome. They're a big part of all our lives. We're a very close family.
How did you connect with Miles?
Well, Miles, family friend.
Right.
Amongst other things. And when when you're sort of grieving in that grieving process, you really need to turn to somebody, and you really do need that sort of support. You need to kind of make sense of something that is really quite tragic. And Miles said to me, hey, why don't we start a blood cancer foundation? And why don't we call it Snowdome? I mean, I'm a creative person. Yeah. And I couldn't fault that name. And I tried my hardest to come up with a better name.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't be doing my job if I couldn't come up with a better name.
Yeah.
But, Miles is one of, it's a fantastic name. Miles is one of the leading, lights in his, medical profession.
Yes.
As Chloe is now a beacon of hope and love, that we can cure these cancers once and for all.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of the marriage made in heaven.
We had a coffee the other day, and I was saying, do you still kind of speak to Chloe? And I think you said,
well, we speak to her all the time. She speaks to us in different ways, but you always do feel like she's there,
guiding.
And I really do feel like that she'd be probably looking on with some amusement today. I'm sure she is looking on somewhere.
I hope, I hope she's getting a laugh along the way. I mean, because it's a very serious subject. But
but I think she'd actually be proud to lend her love of Snowdomes in particular and her name to this worthiest of causes.
Yeah. Now you're, obviously that's a driving factor for you, but you've been working on this now for, intensely, really, for how many?
Well, the idea was first mooted by Mandy 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Or not the foundation, but the actual Great Shake-Up. Yeah. So we've been working on this for a couple of years, and we've actually, the last year, been working on it solely. As you know, ringing you at all times of night and trying to get you off your tractor and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, but the committee is a very dedicated lot, which is fantastic. So.
Well, amazing group of people, and quite a sort of a disparate group of people, but all touched by blood cancers and all, rallying around the one cause.
Yeah.
They know what it's like to sit by a bedside.
And, great support all round, and we're going to have a final word from Sir Richard Branson, who's been wonderful to donate his time to doing the little snippets that we've shown of him, but also as an auction item to have an audience.
Amazing that he's come on board.
But he wanted to just say something towards the end of this this little program. So it's over to Sir Richard again.
Here's a challenge for you Australian CEOs out there. Even if you're not the CEO, stop sitting on your hands and put them deep into your pockets. Time is running out. Anyway, I look forward to meeting you. Cheers.
Okay, he's marvellous the way he just taps into it just like that.
He does.
He's just super. But I want to also thank, because we are at the end of our time, we're going to go out with a tribute to, like a little musical tribute to Chloe. We saw some shots there, but we're going to have more. But I want to firstly mention, go to the site, because that's the best way to get online with the auction and all that. If you want to bid, the auction's open till the 23rd. It's just, I think, Friday week. If you'd like to bid on the only two items, we didn't sort of want to have a heap of stuff.
No, we didn't. We just wanted to have two, to keep it kind of real and to keep it sort of simple, I guess.
Yeah, and as Miles, come in, and we'll just we're going to just wrap this up. But I want to thank you for your time, not just today, but all the hard work that you do with all of your colleagues for helping bring some hope, or making hope real for so many Australians with blood cancers. It's amazing work that you do. This is I guess the first little bubble that's that's launched, and we hope that it will be perhaps an annual thing. It's quite revolutionary to do this as a virtual boardroom lunch. Thank you to all those people who've been watching, sitting in boardrooms, your own boardrooms. It's the event that Sir Richard said earlier. It's the event you have, and you don't have to go to an event. It's
Clayton's event.
A Clayton's event, yeah. You're advertising. Yeah, but it's really wonderful. And the committee, as I said, have worked tirelessly for this. Go to the website. website, and we just want to say thank you again. There's a little musical tribute to Chloe, who really is perhaps how this all came to be. She is up there guiding Snowdome. Thank you, and thank you to the studio audience, and we'll see you again sometime.
Dream